Welcome to session 2, part 2. This is a session we're going to be looking at your editing tools with regards to move, copy, and stretch. Now, they will be found in the modify panel, which is in your ribbon, and we'll be looking at these three tools here: move, copy, and stretch. But before we do that, you should, once you've clicked on your move, copy, stretch exercise, it comes as a ready only, then you save it to your external or hard drive, and this should be up on your screen. Now, it is a floor plan of a office with a door, and it has a desk. All right, so we can actually see that in top view there is some dashed lines indicating a desk drawer, a keypad, monitor, and we are going to be moving this selection of objects. I call it objects because every line is seen as an object and it's not yet been grouped as a block. We will discuss that later. All right, so let's look at moving this object. We have two windows that allow us to move this object. We have which is most commonly used, is the green selection box, which we just click here and we pull that down from top right to bottom left, and you can actually see then all items are highlighted. We also have a blue box, which is known as the window selection box, and if we pull that from top left to bottom right, all items selected in the blue box will be waiting for your next command, either to move it, copy it, etc. Okay, and you can actually see that all the lines have little grips on them, and we'll learn about that at a later stage. All right, so the key, it's you can choose either or. I mostly use, and that's just from habit, the green box, which is the crossing selection box. But later on in this exercise with move, you'll see why the window selection box becomes handy to use, especially when it is overlapping other objects. All right, so we are going to move this item with using our coordinates, and let's get into that. So make sure your dynamic input is on if you want. Then make sure your polar tracking is on. Okay, I've got that at 45-degree angles, and your object snap tracking is on, as well as your O snaps. So those are endpoint, midpoint, center. There's no circles, so we can actually switch that one off. And intersection, yeah, let's leave that on. That's fine. All right, click in model space somewhere, and then we can select the item. We're wanting to make sure that this item moves in a, let's say, left position at 3000 millimeters. What we do is that we select the move button, we highlight the object. So I'll start from this corner here. My green box allows me to select everything in the green box, which will be able to move it. I now have a pick point, which is a little white box, and I'm going to move that in the right direction using my polar tracking. So I press enter. It says here specify base point. We're always going to just choose the bottom left hand corner of this object, and we are going to click it, and we are going to move it in at 180 degrees, moving right, so negative X direction, and we can actually just then type a distance of 3000 because I've already pulled my cursor in the direction of right, and it's locked it in at a angle of 180 degrees. Therefore you see a green vector line. So we're just going to type in 3000 and press enter. You can actually see it's displaced itself 3000 millimeters to the right. Okay, once you've done that, we can now do the same and move it upwards in an at 3000. So let's do that again. Choose your copy, select your item, press enter, choose your base point, select it, and you can actually see it's connected now, and it's asking me where I want to be able to place it. So if you have author off, all right, which is author mode, you can see that I've got an elastic band. So I really need my angles to help me here. I've selected 45-degree angles, so there's 45. I want to go upwards, and therefore I've locked it in at 90 in a Y direction, and I am going to just type in, because it is locked it in at that angle, at 3000 millimeters. So 3000, enter. All right, so that's where your desk should be placed. Now let's do that again, but moving it 2400 to the right and 3900 downwards. So again, select, move, select all objects, enter, select your base point, enter, and we are going to now move that 2400 to the right. So we're going to use our X and Y coordinates. 2400 to the right is a negative X coordinate. Sorry, it's a positive, it's a positive X coordinate. So it's going that way and potentially down. Okay, so we are going to type in 2400, comma, negative 3900. Okay, enter. And you'll actually see that it is now down here somewhere. Make sure that that is the location. It should be overlapping the swing of your door. Okay, so that is showing the direction that the door is going to close, or in the opposite direction to open. You'll see that now I have to choose the window selection box, so the blue box, because this allows me to only select all the items in this object. So if I choose what I was using in terms of the crossing selection box, which is green, if I do that, you'll see that I actually have now included the drawing for the door. So if I move that, so let's just move that, you'll see that that goes with me. All right, and I don't want that. So I just select from the top left hand corner to the bottom right. I think I'm getting confused between my right and my left here. Select, and you'll see that all the items or all the lines that make up the desk are now selected, and the items or lines that make up the door aren't selected. So move, select this window which is blue, click, enter, choose your base point which is there, and now we are going to move it upwards. So first 5,000 to the left and 1,100 upwards. So when we're moving to the left as an x coordinate, it's a negative x coordinate, so we're going to type in minus 5,000 comma 1,800, enter. Oops, I'm not too sure what happened there. Let's do that again. Select, enter, base point, and we are going to now type in negative 5,000 comma 1,800, enter. All right. Let's do zoom all. So let's click here because we're wanting to now see whereabouts this desk is in the whole layout or the whole plan of the office space. Zoom extend or zoom all. Alright, so now I know that it's there. Okay, let's carry on and now move it 5,200 to the right and 2,400 upwards. So that is going to move this object again, enter, base point, and we're going to type in positive 5,200 comma 2,400 in a positive y direction, enter. So there we go, it's up there now, and let's try it using an angle. So we are going to look at moving it 4,800 in a direction of 220 degrees. So in order to do that, we're going to type in either at 4,200 with the smaller then sign, which is based next to the capital M on your keyboard. So that will then complete the action of doing 220 degrees. So let's select that, move, let's do a window selection box. There we go. Press enter, select your base point, and now we are going to give it the command in moving that direction at that angle. So 4,800 we type in. You can actually see it in your hairline prompt on your screen if you do have dynamic input on. If not, it will appear in your command line at the bottom. So 4,800 with an angle. So you press your sign smaller than next to your capital M, and we are going to type in the distance 220. Not distance, sorry, the angle. And it should be somewhere down here. All right. We're going to do that again by doing 2,700 in the direction of 135 degrees. So we are going to move this object. All right, now you can actually see, you might just have to scroll upwards to zoom in, or press zoom in. There we go. All right, press enter, select your base point, okay, which is your bottom left hand corner, and we are going to type in the distance, which is 2,700. Shift key that is next to your capital M, which is the smaller than sign, and that appears in red, and we're going to give it the angle of 135 degrees. Enter. All right, and you can see when I've zoomed out, so here we go, you can either use not pan, get the arrow down here, zoom in, zoom out, or what's easiest is I just use the scroll on my mouse to zoom in and out by moving the scroll up or down. Okay, so now that I can see that it's there, I'm going to just do one more, and that is moving it 5,900 in a direction of 330 degree angle. All right, so again, it's quite close to the edge, so I'm going to use my move button and my crossing selection box, which is green. So all you do is just click, move it down to the bottom left hand corner, click again, press enter, and type in, because that's what it says there, specify base point. So we've done that. We're giving it a distance, 5,900, enter. Oops, I've entered before I have completed my direction, so it's displaced it at this point here because it's actually located my base point as 0, 0. All right, so just be careful of that. What you do is just go undo and all will be well. All right, so it takes you back to the beginning. Move button, enter, base, and we're going to type 5,900, angle of 330, enter. All right, and we basically back to where we started. All right, so I hope that's given you some more confidence with being able to move with using, move objects using the move tool. We can also use the move tool to snap to certain parts of other objects in your model space, and we can use then the O-snaps over here, so which is also quite a nice action or command to do or use. So let's do that. Move, and I want to be able to put this desk right in the corner over there. So you just select the item again. All right, now you can actually see that I've made my selection box too wide, and it's going to also include the items that belong to the door swing. So we're just going to escape that, and I find that I'm going to actually go the other direction, which is my window selection box, which is blue. Enter, and now I'm going to change my base point because I actually want it to meet with this corner. So that corner, which is the end point of the two lines that make the inner wall of your office space, I want to connect it with this point here. All right, so I'm moving the desk, so it's the item that you're moving that you pick that point, and it's an elastic band. All right, so if I had author on, I could only really move it upwards in 45-degree directions, which is a bit annoying if you're wanting to try and get there. So just switch that off and or toggle it off, and there we go. It's now perfectly connected to that corner. All right. Again, this is where your selection tool will come in use. Well, selection window, move, creating the blue box. And I've only been able to select those items that were highlighted in blue that are part of creating this desk. So I press enter, and I can now move it to the midpoint of that desk and this wall here. All right, there we go. And if you zoom in, you can actually see the outer part of the desk. Top is connected to the inner part of the wall, so it's exactly center of the desk to the center of this inner wall on the left hand side. Okay, if you move your desk from this wall to the corner of this wall here, you can also use your direct distance entry to move the desk, say 1,200 away from that wall. Okay, so let's do that there. So from any base point, it will move in the direction that your cursor moves. All right, enter. Let's do that again. Enter. So I want my base point to be the midpoint of the desk, and I want to just move it in a positive X direction or going to the right. So I'm just going to use my direct distance and put that in as an entry of 1,200 because that's where I want to move my desk to, and that distance from the wall to the desk should be 1,200 millimeters. Let's look at the copy tool, which is just under move. So if I select that, I'm going to make a copy of what I have selected. It's exactly like what we've been practicing with the move button, except that you are making a duplicate of it. With move, you could actually see the grayscale left behind, and then you could see the new location of the desk. Once you've pressed enter, it's the end of that command. With copy, we have to press escape because enter prompts it to repeat moving or not moving, copying that item. So I'll just demonstrate that. So let's press copy as a command, and we are going to select this item. All right, I've got my green box, select, press enter. Let's just keep things simple and use the bottom left hand corner as my base point. Alright, let's just do that again. Copy, select, enter, base point. Alright, so you can actually see I have an elastic band again from that base point, and it's now asking me where do I want to make the second copy. Alright, so I've selected the base point, and it's asking me for the first point of displacement. So I want to make a copy going to the right hand side. So I lock it in at 0 degrees and I type in 2500, and that should identify the second object displaced at from base point 2500. So in between here should be a what did they say, about 1,000 I think it is, as a distance. Alright, so because I haven't pressed escape, it's now asking me to specify the second point, etc. So it will keep going unless I press escape, so to finish this command. So press escape, and there you have your two desks next to each other. Alright, if I'm wanting to move these two objects from where they are situated, I can. It's just creating a bigger selection box. So let's move that. Let's go with a window selection box, and we're going to select that. We're going to go enter, and we are going to click down here, and we are going to now move it 2,500 to the left and 3,400 upwards. So let's type that in. So it's negative 2,500 comma 3,400, enter, and my desks have now moved to the top left hand side of the office room. Okay. For multiple copies, we're going to select the copy tool. We are going to create a selection or use a window selection to select both desks and hit enter. So I'm going to go from that side to that side, and I'm going to select enter. Let's do that again. Enter. Now, in order for me to make sure that the top of this gets repeated and starts there, because I want it to be displaced at 900 millimeters, I need to first select the top of my left hand desk. So top left of left hand desk, click it. Now you'll see that an orange dashed vector line appears. So I am going to just not click anything. I'm going to press my override, which is the from drawing aid. So select, right click, choose from, because that's going to be my new base point, is the bottom left hand corner of the desk, and that's where I'll be able to give it a distance from. So from, connect to the corner, and you can see that I have pulled it down. It's asking me now for my offset, or how much do I want to move it from. So I'm going to say 900, enter. Okay, and I need to press escape because it's still thinking I'm needing to do another set. So I'm just going to press escape. Okay, I do find that it is easy for me to, if you're going to do rigid copies of the same object, to place or select or toggle on your ortho mode, okay, because then it allowed me not to accidentally move my cursor off course and that I've actually copied it in the wrong location. So that's quite a nifty little command to know, using your shift right click. So again, let's just do that, shift right click and choosing from. Okay. Let's do some multiple copies. We're going to utilize this desk, the top left desk. We're going to copy from there to use multiple, to make multiple copies. So our first multiple copy, we're wanting to position the new copied item at a distance of 4,182 millimeters at 307 degrees. So we're going to type, we're first going to do our selection box. Sorry, I just pressed move, so we need to press, make sure it's copy. Select the item, enter, use the base point, bottom left. Alright, and we're going to just not enter, not do anything, just start typing 4,182 at a smaller than sign of 307 degrees, enter. Alright, and there it is down there. Okay, I'm still in my command of copying, and that's good because I can then carry on making multiple copies. I don't have to escape and then do the selection block. It's just all about doing things quite quickly. So we're going to move on to the next one, and we're wanting to copy this desk to a new position of 5,000 directly to the right. So I have pulled it directly to the right, and I'm just going to type in 5,000, enter. Copy to a position of 5,265 in a direction of at an angle of 342. So we're going to do that. 5,265 angle sign, and we're going to type in 342 as the angle, enter. And we are going to then pick a point somewhere else outside the office space. Now you can actually see I have my ortho mode on, so it's restricting me. I don't have the elastic band, so all I do is I bring my cursor down here, click that, click out here somewhere, and I have another desk there. Now I need to end this command, so I just press escape, and there we go. We're now going to look at the tool stretch. This is if you have drawn an item and you realize it needs to be longer or taller, etc., but you really don't need to draw the whole thing again. So it's quite handy to utilize this tool. So you select stretch, and you select where you wanting, or you select the lines that you're wanting to stretch. So if you are wanting the desk to be increased by 2,100, you need to then increase the desk by 1,000. All right. So let's look at that. Let's create our selection box. Select, enter, click at the bottom point here and pull it outwards and type in 1,000. Enter. Your desk has now been stretched to a new size in length or width. All right, so let's just say length going this way, and we can look at that as being the width. All right. It's important that when you do stretch, you not be careful of where you are utilizing or identifying the line. So if I do that and I'm wanting to stretch it, just say enter, and I click that point. Do you see that it's looking quite strange, or it's pulling only certain lines because I haven't selected the correct lines to stretch? It needs to be seen in unison with the other objects to make up that part of the desk. All right, so just be aware of that. Yeah, so I think that's enough for this exercise. It's something you can play around with and get used to. It's all the previous information I provided, and bringing it into utilizing other functions and other tools in modification that will assist you further. All right, thank you.